Hey everyone, it's Charlene. I am here to share a Slimline card with you today and some fun tips and tricks on how to set a scene on your Slimline cards. I'm going to be using several different products today. I am using the Penguins Want to Have Fun stamps, and these are super cute. There's lots of little penguins and little added pieces you can use to stamp, as well as several really cute sentiments. And then I'm going to be using the coordinating dies, as well as this new insert, the Rainbow Slimline die cutting system insert. And then I'm going to be using the scalloped rectangle frame from the Slimline Stitched and Scalloped Rectangles and Alpha die cutting system. So you can see I picked out a couple of penguins. They're really sweet, and I am stamping them with some black hybrid ink. And this is a really great ink pad because it's alcohol ink friendly. You can use it with a lot of different mediums. And then also it has a really nice dark color, and it does stay wet just a little bit so you can heat emboss. So I used that rainbow insert and I cut out 3 in several colors. I cut out a scalloped frame then in white, and now I'm taking the cloud portion of the Slimline Curvy Rainbow die and I'm cutting out a cloud. You can see there I am lining up the rainbow insert die behind the cloud I've cut out, just so I can find the center of my paper. I have a piece of teal cardstock that I have cut to Slimline card size, and then I am lining up the insert right there in the center because I want to make sure that I have space on each side to have 2 more, and then also I want to make sure that my rainbows are peeking out from behind the cloud. So you can see there I've cut out 3, and at first I was just going to glue my paper directly down to a white piece of cardstock, and I changed my mind because I decided I wanted to use some really thin double-sided adhesive. So you certainly could use glue to inset all of your little rainbow pieces into the rainbows, but I thought it would be a little easier and quicker to use some really thin double-sided adhesive. And I find it easiest when I'm doing this kind of technique to go ahead and apply the adhesive down and then not remove the backing paper. I just put glue directly on top of that and adhere it to the other piece of cardstock. So you can see I have that all ready. I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to the white cardstock, and then you'll see I have the double-sided adhesive is showing where I'm going to inset all of the little rainbow pieces. So I've sped this up a little bit, but essentially I'm just going in rainbow order, and I still have all of the other extra little pieces that I cut out for other cards that I can make. So it's a lot of fun. You don't have to cut out in every single different color like I did. You certainly could make the rainbows all shades of pink or all shades of blue, and that would cut down on your cutting a little bit. So once I have those inset, now I'm going to take that white scalloped frame, and I'm just using the edge here of my scoring tool. It helps me to line everything up. You could also use the inner edge of a MISTI platform. That would help as well. I find it makes it really easy to make sure you have things lined up. So now I'm coming in and I'm going to color my little penguins. And I'm going to move pretty quickly here through the Copic marker coloring, but I did want to share it with you. For the penguins, I'm using some cool grays. I'm using C1 and C3, and I'm just going around on the edges here and there just to give them a little bit of shading and dimension. Now you could color these with watercolors, you could use colored pencils, you could use pretty much anything that you want to color with. I think people tend to stick with Copic markers or alcohol ink markers because that's what they know, but certainly try other things. There's so many different fun mediums out there. But I've gone in and I've colored the tutu with R32 and RV42, and then I did the bow tie with B02. The crown, I went in with some purples, V04 and V06, and then the balloon is BG23 and BG49. And you can see I'm actually doing a little technique there to blend the two together where I take the tip of my BG23 and I get a little bit of the BG49 on it to do a medium tone. So that's a little trick if you are trying to blend two colors together and they feel like they're kind of too far apart. For the unicorn horn, I did G00 and B00, and then all of the little beaks are YR23. I find that is a really nice color to use for beaks. So I will oftentimes leave my stamps in my MISTI exactly where they were when I first stamped. And then once I'm done with my coloring, I go back in and I restamp them. I find that this just defines the black a little bit more on the stamps, and it really makes them pop. So that's a trick that you can do if you feel like your black ink is not standing out enough. That's definitely something you could do. You also could use the ink and then use some clear embossing powder on top. That would really make it pop as well. So now I'm taking the coordinating dies and I'm going to go ahead and cut out all my little penguins. And I'm using some of the extra wide foam rectangles and white, and I'm just trimming them down. I find that this works really well. It's nice because you can just cut whatever size piece you need, and I have trimmed them down so that I can go all the way around the edge. Now you could easily make this style of card into a shaker, but I really wanted it to look like a layered landscape scene. I didn't want to have a shaker for this card. So once I get the double-sided foam all the way around that scalloped frame, you can see I have cut out a second scalloped frame, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that directly on top of the card. So you can see it's going to layer up. And again, I'm just using the corner of my scoring tool because I find that so helpful with these frames when I'm trying to make sure they are lined up really well. And the nice thing about the foam, the adhesive foam, is that if you don't press down too hard, you can pull up, and it gives you just that extra little bit of time to make sure you can adjust things exactly how you want them. Another thing you could do is dot it with liquid adhesive. Sometimes I do that as well, just so it gives you a little bit more wiggle room. You can see I'm just running my finger then along there so I can get it on there nice and straight. So I did off camera go ahead and cut out several more clouds. So I have a total of 5 of the clouds, and I'm just trimming off the bottom there, you can see, because I want it to tuck down behind that topped scallop frame. And I want to be able to see all the colors of the rainbow. And I didn't want to push it down behind the back scalloped frame. You could do that as well, but I didn't want to do that on this card because I was worried I would kind of smush my clouds. So coming in with liquid adhesive, I'm putting those clouds directly under the rainbows. Now sets of 3 work really well on Slimline cards. And so you could do 3 windows, you could do 3 rainbows like I've done here, 3 squares, whatever works well. Now I'm just trimming down again some more of the white rectangle foam, and I'm going to pop up the 2 front clouds. Now I think this looks super cute because it's still tucked behind the scallop edge of the front, but it makes it look like a 3D scene. I think it's just adorable. So I'm coming in and I'm going to glue down my cute little penguins. I've got them all set where I would like them. And the one on the left and the one on the right, I'm just gluing those directly to the back layer. But I am going to pop up the little balloon. That's another little fun thing you can do with your stamps, especially if you have a little critter that's like holding something. You can pop up just a portion of the stamp like that, and then it just adds that extra little bit of dimension. For the other 2 penguins, they are going to be standing on the clouds. So I just added some of the foam adhesive to the top part of the penguins. So then I can add some glue on the bottom part, and it makes it really easy to know exactly where to stop because I just stop where the foam starts, and then it's going to be seamless and even. So now I have my whole scene set up. It's so cute. I'm coming in now with some clear embossing ink, and I'm stamping that with one of the sentiments from the set, and I am using some black embossing powder, and it says "Let's Dance." I think this is really cute because you can use this sentiment for so many different things. If someone who has a dance recital, that would look super cute. It'd also be just a fun little sentiment for anyone that you like to you know dance with or anything like that. It's just a fun and cheery little sentiment. So I'm creating my own little flag here, and you do that just by trimming down the middle on the side, and then you cut in from the edges to your middle point. And I do this oftentimes with sentiments because I find it really easy to create the just right size of flag based on whatever sentiment you're using. So you can see there, it's just as easy as clipping with your scissors. And if your paper gets a little bent, you can certainly use a bone folder or something like that and turn it over on its, put it face down and then run your bone folder over it, and that will help if you have any kind of like little jagged edges or anything like that. So again, I'm using some more of the foam adhesive, and I'm just holding my sentiment there so that way I can see with my scissors where I need to cut, because I don't want my foam to peek out from behind the little tail edges, if that makes sense. You also could put the foam on there the full length and then just cut it so that it cut out the inset pieces from the little flag pieces, whichever you prefer. And then I'm going to adhere it down to the card. And this is really nice because the sentiment's going to be popped up and those rainbows are in the background. I think it's super cute. Once you're done, then you can adhere your whole card to your card base. Now you could adhere all of this directly to a card base if you wanted to as well. It's just personal preference. I like to create kind of my top layer and then adhere it to a card base once I'm all done. But certainly there are times where I do it directly on the card base. So here's my finished card, guys. I hope you like it. I think these penguins are so cute. I hope you find some time to get crafty today, and definitely join us over at the Picket Fence Facebook community page. We would love to see you there. Like and subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.